This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at Curaleaf, one of America's top multi-state cannabis operators with 42 local dispensaries, 12 cultivation sites, and 10 processing facilities serving more than 100,000 registered medical marijuana patients. Learn more about Curaleaf over at curaleaf.com, spelled C-U-R-A-L-E-A-F. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Monday, March 11th, 2019, and you're tuned in to episode 682 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Jay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. We kick off this week's news with a story that broke late last week as police in Missouri were caught on camera pilfering through the hospital room of a stage 4 cancer patient looking for marijuana after receiving a tip that there was a cannabis smell coming from the room. Nolan Sousley is living with terminal stage 4 cancer and said that while he has used medical marijuana products before, he's only done so out of the hospital and not in a form that would cause any kind of identifiable smell. The video is pretty sickening as the police officers rifle through Nolan's property in a warrantless search for medical marijuana in his hospital room. And Missouri has a legal medical marijuana system that's in the process of being rolled out. A fact that was brought up to one of the officers at one point on the video, whose only response was to point out that medical marijuana was still illegal until the program was up and running. Talk about being heartless. Nolan is speaking out about the incident, which was thankfully filmed. Open this story up, watch the video, share it, be outraged, and then channel that energy into fixing something today. Even if it's small, make something better today. New Cannabis Ventures has details up about a just-closed mega deal up in Canada with licensed medical marijuana company Altria closing on a $2.4 billion Canadian acquisition of a 45% stake in cultivation company the Cronos Group. Altria has options to buy an additional 10% of the company through warrants exercisable over the next 4 years. This is a big deal and one of a type that we're sure to see more of, so I'd open this one up for the full read of all the deal points and whatnot. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Kyle Yeager over at Marijuana Moment scoops up our final top story today with a piece picking up various reactions to the sentencing of President Donald Trump's former campaign manager and now convicted felon and traitor Paul Manafort, who received just under 4 years of prison after being found guilty of lying and stealing from banks, investors, and the American people. Less than 4 years of jail for perpetuating a $55 million banking and tax fraud scheme. Meanwhile, as Kyle's piece nicely lays out, there are a ton of examples of people being thrown in prison for many multiples of Manafort's sentence for low-level cannabis charges. From Fate Vincent Winslow, who got life in prison for selling $20 of marijuana, to Patrick Beadle, who was sentenced to 12 years in prison for possessing medical marijuana after an arrest in Mississippi. There are much bigger issues on this one, of course, but the thin framing slice seen through the disparity between the traitor Manafort's sentence and those of marijuana offenders is stark and worthy of focus. Give this one a read as well. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Curaleaf, one of America's top multi-state cannabis operators with 42 local dispensaries, 12 cultivation sites, and 10 processing facilities serving more than 100,000 registered medical marijuana patients. Curaleaf is one of the fastest growing multi-state cannabis operators, having started 2018 with just a few dispensaries. The company is now also traded as a public stock up on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the symbol CURA, spelled C-U-R-A. Open up curaleaf.com to learn more about the company, its stock, and the 3 consumer cannabis brands it's developed. Their medical marijuana namesake Curaleaf line, Curaleaf Hemp, and Yuku Craft Cannabis. You can also check to see if there's a local Curaleaf dispensary to you, because there's no better way to experience the Curaleaf difference than by making a visit yourself. One more time, that's curaleaf.com. All right, time for the Blitz. On Saturday, a committee in the New Mexican State Senate voted 5-2 to advance a bill that would legalize adult use marijuana. We covered this one last week as the House moved to approve its version of the bill by a count of 36 to 34. The adult use measure now heads over to the Senate Finance Committee before a possible trip to the floor of the Senate at large. As Tom Angel over at Marijuana Moment is reporting, the bill was modified enough by the Senate Public Affairs Committee over the weekend that it will require a trip back to the House if it makes it out of the full Senate vote. Zip over to Tom's piece for more details on the plan, which would rely mostly on government-owned dispensaries. The Canna blog took an instructive look at an array of changes just dropped last week in California over how legal cannabis products are to be packaged and labeled. The Canna blog is an excellent resource that does a good job of parsing the legal particulars of various industry laws, rules, and regulations, so this is another one I'd open up. Patch Livingston of New Jersey has a good story up that looks at the jump in lobbying budgets seen in that state following the handover of the governor's chair from Christie to Phil Murphy. As numbers just released by the New Jersey Election Law Enforcement Commission show, the amount of money spent on professional lobbying to sway cannabis policy more than tripled in 2018. Jumping from just over $330,000 in 2017 to more than $1.3 million last year. We need to throw a little bit of disclosure on this one as our sponsors Cureleaf and Ease are on the list. Civilized pulled together a helpful post with details on how tourists can secure a medical marijuana card in Hawaii when visiting on vacation. If that's you or someone you know, then pop over and give this one a read. A medical marijuana dispensary in Vermont just opened up a drive-thru window through which patients can pick up already placed orders. There are a few other dispensaries in states like Florida and Colorado that offer that kind of service, but none in the New England area. Brattleboro's South Vermont Wellness is located in a former bank and is simply putting to good use the drive-thru window already installed. On Friday, the Los Angeles City Council voted on a couple of important cannabis-related items. First up, they approved a plan to cut off the utilities of any unlicensed marijuana business, something that has plagued the city as it's worked to transition to a fully legal program. Secondly, LA City councilors voted to start a third round of granting business licenses, a controversial decision due to some second-round license holders being unhappy with how things have gone so far, particularly in the realm of the LA Social Equity Program. This one is deep, so I'd give it a read if it catches your attention or if you do any kind of business in LA. And finally for today, a man has been let out of prison in Baltimore after he was arrested last month for possessing 17 pounds of cannabis. Dwight Cheney was arrested just a few weeks after Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby announced a plan to stop charging people for simply possessing cannabis, no matter the amount or their past criminal record. Cheney was held in prison for a month, which his attorney says caused him to lose his job, but he was recently let out without charge. This is an interesting one. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Cureleaf, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in, starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.